So just before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. Like I said, I guess I got started too quickly. So this webinar is being recorded. I'll send out the link to the recording after it's being processed. It takes a little while to be processed. I'll email it out, though, so that if there is a piece that you missed or you wanted to hear again, you can rewatch. If I've muted everybody, but if you get unmuted, if you could mute yourself, so that when you're done asking your question or saying your comment, just a lot of times there's driving noises or kids or dogs in the background that can make it hard for everybody else to hear. Audio, phone versus computer, you can pick either way. I see most of you are using your computer speakers. Sometimes the phone has a little less audio issues. So if you find that we're cutting out, if you click on the audio tab of your GoToWebinar dashboard and click on phone call versus computer audio, you might have better luck with that. And then if you have any questions, we love the questions. Agnes definitely welcomes the questions. You can raise your hand, which is this icon here, and we can unmute you, or just go ahead and type it in the chat box. It's default to say the entire audience, so, and that's okay. If you want everybody to see the question, that's absolutely fine. Just send it in there. If you, for some reason, want to be anonymous and you just want to send it to myself and the presenter, Agnes, then just change this all to organizers only, and that way I can see that for you. Are there any questions about how, that's pretty much how this is gonna work today. Let me know if you have any questions on any of that. I wanted to give a little bit, before we get into the meat of the topic today, why are the webinars here? What's the WCWB? So my name is Tracy Hansen, and I'm the program manager of the Washington Center for Women in Business, or WCWB, and we are an SBA-funded women's business center. So our main goal is to help women who want to either launch a business, start a business, or if they want to grow or strengthen their existing business. We do this with one-on-one coaching sessions, a lot of one-on-one, as well as workshops and seminars like this. We have things either online or in person, over the phone, however works best for you. We actually cover the entire state of Washington, but we're located in Lacey right now. So a lot of times we have to use that technology, those phones, those Skyping, webinars, fun stuff like that, in order to reach you if you're outside of the Thurston County area. So the Washington Center for Women in Business, or the first session to meet with us one-on-one is free. It's $25 for every session after that. There are scholarships available, though, if you're in the launching phase, or for whatever reason you can't afford the $25, we know that happens, contact us for fee waivers. And my, as well as the business coach and our office coordinator, our email and contact information is on there. Feel free to reach out to us. So with that, I'll get started. I'll hand it over to Agnes first. Agnes is with Another Way Marketing, and she is going to give us some good information on our online checklist. Let me make you the presenter here, Agnes.
Thank you, Tracy. Just a second.
Thank you. Welcome.
Well, hello, everybody. Before we get started, can I please get a yes in the chat box if you can hear me okay? My dashboard says that my audio is good, but I know things happen all the time. So if we're good to go, let me see. Okay, if we're good to go.
Yeah, we got several yeses, yeah.
Good. So welcome to this presentation about the 10-point online marketing checkup. Let me introduce myself real quick. Let's see if this will work. Okay, so immediately frozen. Okay, so good. So my name is Agnes. I know it's a weird name. It's coming from Hungary. That's where I'm originally from, in the middle of Europe. And just a little bit of background information about me. I've been a corporate trainer for most of my adult life. So I've been teaching business topics and communication topics for more than 20 years. And then 12 years ago, I had this weird idea of starting a business in a total different market, and that I ended up in Olympia, Washington, which I'm very happy about, even though the weather seems to be miserable around now, but I know the sun is coming, so let's bear with us, okay? So about 8 years ago, I fell in love with online marketing, and that's where my company's name is. So I've been working with local small businesses, not large corporations, just local small businesses, helping them with their social media marketing, video marketing, and in the last 3 years, mostly with their reputation, online reputation. So that's why I thought that this would be a good overview for your online marketing activities, because I know it's a vast topic, and I also know that when you first encounter this idea of online marketing, the first idea is, oh, great, this is free. And then also, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. So I would like to give you a little bit of guidance in this whole thing. So today's topics are basically, this is the 10-point checkup that I'm suggesting to your business and to you. And these, depending on your type of business, these might not be equally important for you, but the first few are definitely important for most businesses that I've been working with and for most businesses that I know. And then you can decide which ones have priority right now in your situation. This actually is a prioritized list. So I also have to warn you that the whole thing is a little bit top heavy, and this is why. Your local Google ranking, meaning your visibility, mostly, how you appear in online searches, depends on the first two things, mostly, and a little bit on your website as well. But it's actually surprising that regardless of whatever most people think, Google doesn't weigh your website so heavily in local searches as it does when it's global searches. So that's just a little bit of information. And I try not to be very technical with this whole thing. I'm not an IT person, so you've got that going for you when you're talking with me. I try to simplify things and keep them as simple, as understandable as possible. So anytime you have a question, please type your question in the chat box. I try to pay attention to those, and also Tracy is here to help me with any questions, and we will stop around probably 12:45, 12:50, and then we will have a little time for questions. So here we go. So the first thing in your checklist is your visibility, and here's my question. Type the number of online directories in the chat box that your business is represented in. So if you know the number of online directories that you are actually present in with your business, type that number. You can also say, I don't know, or you can also say yes or no. Those are all valid answers. So if you want to know what online directories are, every single website that has your name, address, and business name, address, and phone number is considered an online directory, okay? So let's see if there are any hits here. Okay, mostly some people say I don't know too. Okay, so we have a few of those. Here's why it's important. Okay, let me once again. He froze. Okay. All right, here we go. So just to scare you a little bit, online directories are these things, all these websites that actually communicate with each other and pull information from one another. So if you are listed in one of the big things like Bing or Google or Yahoo, they are communicating with each other and borrow information from each other. So if you're listed in one online directory, chances are you might show up in others without you knowing it. And this is an interesting thing, because when that happens, you have zero control over what's posted about your business unless you actually claim that directory listing. Now, the other important thing is Google only considers these identical listings if all the information is correct about your business. That means your name, business name, address, and phone number. Once again, name, address, and phone number, otherwise known as NAP. It's very important And it has to be so correct that here's one of my clients' information here. You can see that all of these listings have the same exact address, and when it says SW, it's not it cannot be replaced with the word Southwest. If it says Southwest instead of SW, then Google considers that a separate listing. So it has to be identical across the board if you're listed in online directories. And every single online directory is basically a vote for your website, a vote for your business. And Google measures these. And if you are listed in more directories and your listings are correct and claimed, then Google ranks your business higher in local searches. Okay? So that's why it's so important. Now, the other thing that's very important, and most people don't realize how important it has become in the last few years, is your online reputation. Type yes in the chat box if you have ever looked at product reviews on Amazon or eBay or on any other site. I would just like to see. Have you ever looked at those? Yes, many of you have. I do too. All of us do. So much so that if we see the identical product on Amazon, we still go with the one that has more reviews and better reviews, even though the product might be totally identical. So these have some kind of a psychological pull, and Google recognizes this and actually ranks businesses with more reviews and good reviews higher in local searches. So it used to be that you put up a website when you start a business, and then you start, doing your thing. You are working on your SEO. You're working on your social media. You're maybe buying some radio advertising, and then you don't really pay attention to your reputation. And when people search for your business, these are the things that they find. So I suggest a different approach. If you're just now starting your business, don't bother making the most perfect website. Okay, I know that this sounds weird. It doesn't have to start with the website. Build a 5-star online reputation first, and then market your 5-star reputation, and then you will have enough business to afford the nicest possible website. And I'm not saying websites are not important. I'm just saying this is not what people are looking for. So reputation matters, and actually this is the most important thing that is visible for you about you online, even without you knowing it. So it's high time that small businesses take the control back about their reputation. Here are some facts and data. Okay, there was a survey that, the question is, when you're being referred to a business, what do you do next? And if you think people look in the phone book, this is the data for you. And this is actually 2 years old, so that 87% who search online to find the business is now about 94. So technically everybody. And only 6% of people use the phone book. Okay, so phone books are not fashionable anymore. They are too small to be doorstops. So I suggest you focus on your online reputation instead. Another survey from 2015. How many times did you search online for a local business? 85% of people said more than once. Okay, so that's also very important. And reviews have to be fresh. Most people prefer fresh reviews, because if the reviews are more than 6 months old, they might not be relevant anymore. Many things can change about a business. So how should you do this? These are the things that I suggest. Have consistent listings. Most of these listing sites are free. It's just a lot of work. So you can actually take some time and go in the most important directories and create your listings and claim your listings. Have a review getting system that is safe enough, which means that people don't go directly to Google to complain about your business or to Facebook. So have some intermediary solution there where they can leave reviews on a website or SurveyMonkey. And then collect reviews in not just one directory, but many directories, because if you don't own these websites, they can be taken down anytime, and there go all your reviews with it. And you need to respond to all your reviews. That's very important, good and bad. Monitor them and respond. And if you have a chance, you should promote your great reviews. Basically, brag about them. Here's another result from the survey. What would make you more likely to leave an online review? And it said if there was an easy and convenient place to leave the review. So if people get a survey, a few questions, something like that. If they asked for it, that was the second most important thing. So you actually have to ask. Surprised, right? And here's the good news. Most people want to leave a positive review, okay? So there are only this small percentage of people who only leave negative reviews. And by the way, I'm a trained physician, so I can tell you this is actually probably connected to a diagnosis if somebody only leaves negative reviews. So that's basically good news because most people want to leave positive reviews. So type yes in the chat box if you have already asked for a review about your own business. Have you ever asked? I would like to see who's brave enough to ask for a review. Okay, so we have a few people who have. Okay, cool. And then some of you haven't, and that's totally okay. You have to have the right moment when you do that, but that's not impossible. Okay, so there are many different ways that we collect reviews for our clients, and that's totally fine. You can ask, you can have set up web pages, you can email them, you can even put up QR codes if you want to. So there are different ways. The important thing is whenever you get a review, positive or negative, always respond, okay? And I've got a review response template document for you if you get in touch with me after this presentation. So just an example. If you don't monitor, this is what can happen. This is from a company's Facebook page. Somebody posted a negative review, see 1 star, and it says, I'm disappointed and frustrated with this company. It's a construction business. And then somebody asks, yeah, I had the same situation. And then somebody else asks, did you ever get it resolved? And the guy responds, no, never resolved. Too bad, because I would have had other business for them. And this is out there for everybody to see. The company never once joined this conversation about their horrible service. So this is basically advertising how bad they are. And it's right there in front of their faces, and nobody does anything about it. This is how not monitoring your reputation can hurt your business, okay? So if this is not the case and you do have good reviews, there are many different ways to actually promote those. You can create videos from them. You can actually post those reviews no matter where they were originally posted. You can grab them and brag about them on Facebook, on your Facebook page, or on your website. And I strongly recommend to do that. This is the money-making part, okay? So this is how having good reviews actually brings business and gets the phone ringing. So there are different ways to do that. Okay, so this is the review getting part. Okay, now let's go to your website. And I would like to play a little scoring game with you. So the rules are, if you think you're absolutely there with your website, then you give yourself 2 points, okay? If you're there somewhat, you give yourself 1 point. And if the answer is no, then 0 points, okay? So let's score your website. First of all, is your name, address, and especially your phone number easily visible on your website? If it's absolutely, 2 points, somewhat, 1 point, no, 0, okay? Is your website mobile responsive, which means that if they look for you on a mobile device, your website is optimized for that. Do you have a video on your homepage? Do you have your most important keywords, the words you would like to be found for in your website text? Any kind of description in the About Us section, on the home page? Do you have any keywords there? And then, does your website have a clear purpose? So if somebody goes to your homepage, do they take action? Do they sign up for anything? Do they get in touch with you? Do they do what you're asking them or wanting them to do on your homepage? Give yourself 2, 1, or 0 points. So let's see the scores in the chat box if you have bared with me. Okay, so it's 8. That's pretty good. Okay. 6, that's fine. 5, okay. All right, so this is a very simple way to see if there are any urgent things to do with your website. And here's my suggestion. here's the suggestion, if I can make it work. So if you scored at least 6 points, you can leave your website alone for now, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect to do its thing, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. And I know we all would like to tweak our website and constantly improve our website, and we complain about websites that it doesn't do this and that, but you don't need to do all that, okay? So 6 to 10 points, you're fine. If it's less than that, then you have some priorities to attend there, okay? So the next thing after your website is email list building. Now the question is, once again, do you have an email list? Do you have a list of people that your business is regularly communicating with? Doesn't matter what type. Type yes or no in the chat box. Let me see. Do you have an email list? Even if you don't communicate with them, do you have a list? Okay. So I borrowed this analogy from an internet, basically a social media marketing company called HubSpot. And their analogy is like this. Inbound marketing, the stuff we do with email lists, is similar to the Discovery Channel. Here's why. So what happens on the Discovery Channel? You watch those documentaries, and first they lure in the animals with some bait. Then they capture them. Then they tag them for future tracking. And then they release them, right? So that's basically the process when you're trying to monitor the behavior of your favorite animals. You want to follow them everywhere. Now, this is what we do in inbound marketing. We actually lure them in with little baits, like offering free videos or PDF documents. Then we capture them, meaning we ask them to give us their contact information so that we can keep in touch with them later. Once they hit the submit button, they are tagged, right? We can now follow them and we can communicate with them, but for now we actually release them and we say, okay, go with peace, I've got your information, I'm gonna stay in touch with you. So this is the email list building mystery, and the way to do this is not to hold on to that list. As they say, the money is in the list. The more often and the more effectively you communicate with that list, the more certain your business's future is in terms of online marketing. And here's why. So once you have your list, that's number 5 on the list, we have the content marketing possibility. Content marketing means that we send out relevant, interesting, compelling, useful content to our members on our list, and we would like to communicate about it with them. It doesn't mean that we're only sending out advertising, okay? It means that whatever might be interesting for them, whatever might be useful for them, we send that out. And we can do that by sending out links to videos, sending out ebooks or free reports, PDFs, whatever is relevant for your business. You can do that via email. You can also keep in touch with them via text messaging. I know I said 10-point online marketing checkup, but texting is not very far from that. There are capabilities with some systems that you can actually send out voicemail messages if there's a reminder that you want to send out, or they can call in and listen to an audio recording message. That's also possible if you have that list. You can send out Facebook and Twitter posts. You can invite them to a webinar, just like this one. You can even invite them to a live event. And of course, you can always send physical mail. And the send out cards is just an example. You can send out any kind of greetings, messages, and all that. So if you do some of these or all of these, you will always have enough topics to talk about with your audience, okay? So that's the whole idea of content marketing, sending out relevant, useful content to your business audience. And it doesn't mean that you're selling all the time, by the way. So research shows that depending on which niche you're in, the actual selling part shouldn't be more than 20 to 30% of all of your communication, okay? 20 to 30% maximum could be directly selling and call to action. Everything else should be funny, interesting, entertaining. Actually, if you're doing Facebook, it should be more on the funny and entertaining side. So the next one is trust triggers. Here's the question. This picture symbolizes one of the most important things that I learned when I started dealing with marketing. The currency in marketing is trust. Do they trust you right now? Do you have trust with your business right now? Are you credible for your audience? Type yes in the chat box or type I don't know. Okay, yes, absolutely. So if you're trusted right now, that's really good because that's the first step to getting business. If you have any new people or new clients or potential clients who don't trust you yet, you can actually trigger that trust by offering smaller products or services for a lesser price before you actually offer your main product with full price. So the idea of trust triggers is if your business is looking for more potential customers, it's actually a good idea to think about what could I offer for a lesser price, maybe an introductory price, maybe sometimes even for free, or even though I don't suggest that to be the case most often. Something that is of value, but it's not very, very costly for them. With these things, the idea is not to make a ton of sales of these small things. The idea is to actually build that trust, deliver very quickly on that promise. So it should be something that is easily doable by your business. It doesn't take up a lot of your time. Maybe it's some easy product, but it should be valuable enough for the potential client to actually think about staying in business with you for a long run. Okay, so once you deliver on this trust trigger and they're happy, it's a lot easier to sell them the more expensive stuff and your main product or service. So this is why it's called the value ladder, that we constantly try to upsell them on this ladder, but we don't start up here, we start down here. Okay? All right, any questions about this so far? Because we are moving to a different area. Tracy, can you help me? Have there been any questions?
I don't see any.
Okay, I actually saw something earlier about somebody's bookkeeping business. Let me see. Okay.
That one went to you.
Okay, all right. I have a virtual bookkeeping business and would rather not list my home address. What's your best suggestion for my online listing? Would a PO box work? Okay, so this is actually thank you for this question, Karen. Here's what happens. Google doesn't allow PO boxes as your business address, unfortunately. So, this is a little bit tricky because if you don't want your home address to appear, then what you can do is you can have a mailing address if it's not a PO box. So you can maybe have somebody else's address who is in business with you or is related to you and they don't mind their address showing up there. It doesn't have to be your official business address. It just has to be an address where you check mail and they allow you to use that address. For the same token, I know that there are office leasing services even here in Olympia where for about $100 a month you can use their business address and even their phone number, and you can actually even register your business with that address. So if that's something that would be of interest to you, you can contact me about this later. I don't want to advertise that business right now, but there are solutions like that, more than one. So unfortunately, PO boxes don't work, but any kind of other physical address might work. So it doesn't have to be your home address if you're not comfortable with that. Any other questions? Okay, no so far. All right. So let's go further then. So far, what we talked about was visibility, reputation, your website, your email list building, your content marketing, and your trust triggers. And the next thing is, if you have gone so far, then you probably want to monitor what you're doing. And I recommend two separate services. One is a paid service that's called Alexa.com, and you can see they are an Amazon-owned company. They have very reliable data about your business and about your website, sorry, and where you rank and how many visitors you have. And sometimes you can even go into details about who those visitors are on your website, how much time they spend on your website, and basically how often they click away, how many of them click away really quickly. So this is all very good data, and it gives you feedback on what people do when they look at your website. So going back to your website scoring thing, what's your conversion rate? What do people do when they visit your website? You can actually measure that by measuring traffic. The other tool is Google Analytics, and that is a free tool, and you can set up more than one account with Google and monitor your web pages separately or even combined. Google will give you a little code that you have to put in your website. So if you're not that tech savvy, you might want to have your web design person work with you on that. And that way you can actually track what happens on your separate pages, and you can see if this is to your liking, if this is something that you would like to see. And this is one of the reasons why I suggest to have a video on your homepage, because you can immediately increase the time spent on your web page. And while people are watching the video, they're not only watching the video, they're looking at your whole homepage. So they spend more time, they get more information, they might be more compelled to take any kind of action. Okay? So type yes in the chat box if you're tracking any of this, if you have data, either from Google Analytics or from any other source. Type yes in the chat box, or no if you don't. Okay, let me see. Okay, no, yes. All right, so some people, yeah. Okay, Squarespace. All right, okay, so there are other sources, of course, and these are all useful. And I'm not saying you have to check these daily, but once a month, once every 2 months, especially if you have changed something on your site, it's very useful data, and it's very good information for you to see if you're on the right track or you have to change something. Okay? All right. So next on the list is KPIs, which means basically that you're measuring traffic here, but you can actually set up your own performance indicators about your online marketing services and how you're doing online, how visible you are online. And once again, my suggestion is start with your reputation. So basically, the two important thing is how many online reviews you received each month, and how many reviews, the good ones, of course, have you marketed and promoted. Now, here's the thing. Getting Google reviews is a lot harder than it looks. So, and I say this with about 5 years experience of in getting Google reviews for my clients and for my own businesses. So no wonder most businesses don't have a ton of great Google reviews or any Google reviews at all. Because for somebody to leave a review on Google for you, they need to be logged into their Google account. And to this day, not everybody has a Google account, and even if they do, most people have no idea how to log in when they are prompted to do that. So either they are already logged in or they are not. If they are not, and they are not willing to do that extra thing for you, then you're not getting that Google review, no matter how happy they are with your service or product. So Google reviews, to this day, I consider them golden. And here's my suggestion. If you are on good terms with any other businesses that you're a customer of, the best possible thing you can do for them is give them a Google review. It's like a gift, okay? And the same thing goes for your business. So if you have any happy customers today that you can ask for a Google review, it's golden. And if they do it for you, then you should be eternally grateful. And by the way, you shouldn't reward them with any other special services because Google doesn't allow that. So they have to be just willingly give it to you. But you can still thank them on the phone or thank them in an email. Now, the next thing on your performance indicators is the engagement on your website. And this is something that should be tailored to your own business needs. So it should be something that, either these things are important for you, either you're selling through your website or you are not. Maybe your website is just for image purposes. Then, of course, you have to get this information from your Facebook page or wherever you're doing most of your business activities. And then the last one is, what are your traffic sources? Where are your visitors coming from? Are they just searching and finding you online, or do you pay to be found? That's online, any kind of online campaigns that you're running. And then finally, more and more important is mobile traffic and mobile conversions, because a lot of people use their mobile devices, especially since these mobile devices have become bigger and bigger, even the phones. Some of them are just mini computers. They are not really phones anymore. So a lot of people don't use the computer or the laptop anymore. They use their mobile device. And you need to track that traffic if that's relevant for your business. Not every single type of business uses that, but if yours does, then there's a good reason to include this in on your dashboard. So that's basically the idea. And this is the process of turning visitors into customers. Remember the trust triggers, and then not everybody will turn into customers, but hopefully a lot of them. So the next thing on the list is your continuity program. Type yes in the chat box if you have one right now. Do you have a program that keeps your customer a customer by offering more and more stuff to them and upselling them? So most of you say no, 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 no. Okay. All right. So this is an interesting concept, and the idea is basically, like I said, to start with a small trust trigger, and then continuously communicating with them and turning them into a longer-term customer by continuously offering more services or products. And it doesn't have to happen immediately, but every single research I've ever seen tells you that it's a lot easier to resell something to an existing customer or sell something new to an existing customer than to sell something to a brand new person. About 10 times easier. So you have a very good reason why you want to keep your customers happy, communicate with them, and a few ideas is, of course, email, which is still a valid source. And if you're a trusted source of email and you're not spamming them, they will look at your email and they will open it. I'm seeing more and more businesses communicating via Facebook Messenger, believe it or not. So Facebook, besides being the largest social media site, it's also a business site, and there are many people many businesses who communicate via Facebook. And this is a good way because people check their Facebook messages immediately. It's just as good as texting, which is also a very valid source. So if you have a continuity program, you can send out reminders about, okay, it's time for your next oil change, or it's time for any kind of other checkup or reason to connect. And that way, your customers are staying your customers, and you can have continuous revenue from them without having to search for new ones every single time. I also know businesses who do a program or any kind of service, and then everybody's happy, but the customer is not getting any kind of follow-up or not getting any kind of ideas how to continue. And they would be willing to, but if a business doesn't take that extra step to actually set up a system where they follow up and they ask if there's anything else they can do for you, then the opportunity gets lost. And it's a lot harder to manage a business with one-offs only. So that's why if you have that program, it helps a lot, and it's easier to do it online than in any other possible way. Now, the last one on the list is a referral program. So do you have a referral program? Yes or no? Type yes or no in the chat box. Do you have a program where you actually reward your existing clients or customers for bringing in new business to you? So the whole idea is to grab those who are already happy and ask them for more business by spreading the word about your business, okay? And the 3 most popular ways to do that are here. So you can start a referral contest, which basically means that if somebody refers a new customer, they get some kind of a benefit from your own company. So you can reward them for referring some new business. Seasonal campaigns are like on this little sample ad in the bottom left corner. It's basically a Super Bowl thing when if you refer somebody, then you get $10 worth of goodies or $10 account credit. So that's also a good way. Or social gifting, when you inspire your friends about yoga, share how yoga works for you, and in return, you get a free week of yoga. So these are all ideas, just examples for you. These are the things that you can offer. I am a very big fan of offering store credit, because store credit keeps them with you, right? If you give cash, they might take it somewhere else. But store credit absolutely ties them to you. And if they are a happy customer, of course they will stay with you and spend that store credit with you. You can also offer some free time subscriptions, free week, free month, free whatever. If your business has any kind of related merchandise, you can do that, or you can just put together a gift basket of some kind. You can offer upgrades, free upgrades, or you can offer any kind of gift card. So even if your business does not have any of these other ideas like subscriptions or merchandise, you can still get some gift cards and offer them for a referral. So here, my question is, what would your business prefer to do? So what would be more relevant for your business? Type those things in the chat box. Let me see. So which one would you try to offer? Which one would be relevant for your business? Okay, let me see. So what kind of gifts would your business? Okay, merchandise. All right. Time. Okay. Yep. All right, cool. So we have all kinds. Gift cards. Gift cards are actually very popular, and I think that's a good way to do it. And I know that some merchant services actually help you even design your own gift cards. So yeah, and some of you say, well, it's a little hard to figure out because it might not be relevant. And yes, you're right, it might not be relevant. You might not need a referral program for your business because it's hard to grasp the concept. But you can always, and yeah, that's another great idea, cross-promoting with other businesses. You're actually supporting local businesses when you do that. So that's something that I'm a strong believer in. So much so that, you know, sometimes when we do networking events and I'm the presenter, and the presenter is supposed to bring a gift, I usually don't get a Starbucks gift card, which would be the easiest way to do it, right? Or any kind of coffee shop gift card that is a franchise. And I don't have anything against franchises, by the way, but I always try to get some kind of a gift from within that networking group. So somebody should offer something like a hair product or some other service, or maybe a chiropractor checkup or something like that, or a massage certificate, stuff like that, to support our local community with our local and support each other with our local businesses. Okay, so if this makes sense, then this is just a suggestion, but it might be on your list from now on to figure out what kind of a referral program would be relevant to you. So here's what we did. We talked about your visibility and online reputation as, in my opinion, the most important thing that you could do for your business online. We talked about your website, just very, not in detail, and your conversion, turning visitors into customers or leads. building an email list and doing content marketing relevant for that list. Trust triggers, those little offerings that you can do either for free or for a very little money to actually capture those people who are interested and keep them doing a bit more business with you. Monitoring your traffic on your website, setting up your own performance indicators, thinking about some kind of a continuity program for your own business, and also referral programs where you're trying to reward your existing clientele for bringing you more business. So, and I see, thank you, George, for this example. Window company we used gave us $50 to the false terrace. Yes, absolutely. All right, so any questions about this? And I can see that we are on time. So if you have any questions, any ideas, anything that's related to this topic, this is the time. And you can ask to get unmuted if you want to ask the question instead of typing. Tracy, do we have any other questions?
I only see the ones that have gone to you, so like George's that he just had.
Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay.
Or George just put a good one in there. If you only have time for a few things, which would you prioritize?
Okay, so once again, if you only have time for a few things, I would definitely start by checking my directories. That would be the #1 thing on my list. Without that, I wouldn't even go any further. So the way to do it is two things. First of all, Google your own business, and on the first page that comes up with your search results, you will see which directories have any kind of information about your business already, with or without you knowing it. And then the other thing that you can do is Google your category. So let's say bookkeeping, Olympia, Washington, or any other type of service, and see what kind of online directories come up on that first page. Those are the directories that you should be listed in. And I wouldn't go further than probably 10, 15 of them, which takes probably one of those many, many rainy Sunday afternoons that we have here. So you can spend one afternoon doing that, and then your visibility would be increasing immediately. Okay, I see another one from George saying, did you tell us to create a Google alert? No, not really. Google is not very reliable in monitoring your online reputation, but if you have a Google Maps listing, Google will actually notify you about a review, so without you even setting an alert. But with as far as monitoring other sites, it used to be that Google did that function for you for free, not anymore. So you have to find another way to monitor your reputation. And one way would be to actually manually do that, and I have many other ideas, of course. What kind of videos are helpful on a website? Thank you, Sally, for that question. So I would suggest very short videos, no longer than 2 minutes. They could be even animated videos, believe it or not. Those little cartoon videos are very popular. Maybe you have a mascot or some other ideas there. What I wouldn't recommend so much is 2 minutes of talking head. Basically, you as the business owner talking for 2 minutes. It's okay to show up at the beginning of the video and smile and introduce yourself, and then quickly turn to any kind of pictures. It could be a very simple video that you put up a whole bunch of pictures together and create a short video from those with some music underneath and with some text. Technically, any simple video would do. It doesn't have to be professional quality. You have only to think about the audio. That has to be very good, because research shows that people tolerate a not so good picture in a video, but they won't tolerate any bad audio. So that's how you capture interest. And by the way, you have the first 8 seconds of your video that are the most important. That is the most important part, because people will actually decide within 8 seconds if they will stay with that video or not. So that's all the time you have to capture their interest. So it better be interesting, better be funny, better be nice, maybe some dynamic music depending on what kind of topic you have. Let's say if you are a holistic massage therapist, you probably don't want the dynamic music there, but in any other situation it might work for you. Okay, any other questions? I don't see any. Tracy, have you seen anything new?
No, I don't. That might be it.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for your attention. Thank you for staying with me. And I don't think anybody will be sad if we finish a little bit early. And you have all my contact information on this page. You can take a picture of it. You can contact me anytime with any questions that you might have. Okay. And thank you for the opportunity, Tracy.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the great information. I have your contact information up on the screen here. And I wanted to say, if you wanted more Agnes, I thought it was a great presentation. She's actually doing 3 in-person workshops for us, May 8th, May 22nd, and June 5th. The topics are on the screen there. And if you go to wcwb.org/marketingmonday, you can learn a little bit more about that. But I will send out all of the